I find it difficult to understand the killing of women and children. Just off the top of my head, but we'll get into a more comprehensive answer. Sometimes the word children isn't well translated in the English, and often in individual cases where it's children that are killed, the original text is not children like you would think of a small child. Also, often they're at the age, and the wives, that they have been in on it with them, deliberately assisted often crimes in the Bible, injustice, idolatry, murders of their own as family units. There's something in the ancient church and the early church and the early modern church which has been almost completely lost now because of Western post-Enlightenment culture, and that is unity and representation and headship and a word that I can't remember, like community. And what I mean is often the head or the oldest son would represent an entire family, and because they probably lived together, worshipped together, were taught together, grew together, worked together, enjoyed the fruits of their labours together, you can almost guarantee that when a head is judged, like a father or a teacher, the children were in on it too. Nowadays, families don't look after each other, they don't speak to each other, they don't work with each other, they're passing ships in the night, and Western civilization has fallen apart because of it. And good riddance to Western civilization. But there was that something word that I can't remember. I'm just going to call it community headship. That's 2 words. Is another reason why often families got judged together. They were all in on it together. Third, the Lord today has taken away 155,000 people. A lot of them were children. We're in the realm here of, will not the judge of all the earth do right? And it is true that children are innocent to a degree. But it's also true that there is no child even innocent and therefore deserving of life just because they're young. So the Lord gives and the Lord takes away. And now we're in the realm of He will do right. We know His qualities are good and fair and just. There are no complaints against Him when we stand before Him on that day. Children can be the most vilest, ugly, hateful creatures on planet Earth from a very early age, and do deserve judgment. So young age doesn't equal some sort of heavenly being. Don't forget, when Joshua had his moral conquest, the Canaanites had been given 400 years for them, their wives and children and adults to turn from sacrificing children to demon gods. 400 years! And then the judgment came. And here they had ample warning to turn back to the Lord. So consider that as well. Now, why here in the Old Testament were like actual humans the agents of bringing God's judgment? So how is it that God commands humans to slay enemies, pagans, families, women, children, or whatever age they were? The answer to that is because in the Old Testament, like everything was in the ancient church. The keys of everything were handed to the ancient church, like how to govern land as well. So, I mean, if you want to get fancy, the theologians would call it a theocracy, where God was immediately reigning without any in-between people, and would give instructions to his man, his king. And now, the New Testament in parts of Romans makes clear that those parts of that have been handed over now to secular governments, and he gives them now the keys and the rights to make certain calls in a land that once were the entire call of the ancient church. Now we're to pray for our governments that they would carry out judgment against young and old in a righteous and fair way, as the Lord used to do in the Old Testament. But yeah, I mean, Jesus has literally cut down the lives of 155,000 people today. And he has done no wrong in it, because he is the potter and we are the clay. And I say in this as someone who hopefully will never go through a death of my own child, but it's possible to get to the place one day where you can say, the Lord blessed me with that child for that time I was given. That child was a gift to me. And the Lord gives, the Lord takes away, blessed be the name of the Lord. Don't forget how serious sin is, and this world is under judgment, and God does hate sin, and death of any age, people, is a result of that. That's the seriousness of sin, that it caused God's wrath to pour out on planet Earth. But I've met Christian parents who have gone through tragedies and the loss of youngsters, and they see something of Jesus through it, which they can get to the place where they say, though my flesh and my heart will fail, he is my strength and my portion forever. It's real powerful stuff, how the Lord redeems even in tragedy and wrath, and how Jesus has taken that and promises a better world to come. It's moving and powerful stuff. Since reading the Old Testament, the difference between it and the New Testament, which is all about love and forgiveness, and the commandments to not kill, etc., is striking and thought-provoking as the Lord is in both. Yeah, so, right, dealing with those two things very quickly. There is judgment in the New Testament, possibly more actually than in the Old Testament. Jesus judges particularly religious nasty people. Church judges, and church has to judge people and kick them out of fellowship. In Revelation there and Thessalonians and many of the parts of the epistles, there is the final day of great judgment. And then there's an awful lot of love and forgiveness. And all this, actually, this book here is about the love that the Lord has for the ancient church to redeem them. So I wouldn't drive a wedge between the two and say one has one and one has the other, because they both have both, I think. And the very same Jesus speaking these oracles is the one who is born of Mary in the New Testament. So that's a starting point for that one.